Hi, I'm Barry Winfield with SmartCycleShopper.com. We're here in mountain lion country riding the Ducati Troys Bayliss Limited Edition. It's a 1098R. It's been specially outfitted in Troys Bayliss colors with the Australian color, and it's quite a powerful beast. 1098R came into being as a homologation special so that Ducati could go racing an 1198cc motorcycle in World Superbike. And so although it's called a 1098, it is in fact an 1198 in terms of displacement. The cylinder heads and crankcases are sand cast, so they could be lighter. It has titanium valves and connecting rods in the engine as well. It has a special fuel injection system with double injectors for each cylinder. Gear ratios are somewhat higher in the last three ratios, and all of the gears have been shot peened for extra strength. The bike's output is 180 horsepower unless it's equipped, as this one is, with the race kit, which has these Terminioni exhaust cans at the back. That bumps up the power to about 186. The torque is about 100 pound-feet at 7,750 RPM. It's a seriously flexible, seriously hard charging bike. Among the other special things it has are these fantastic front brakes made by Brembo. This is a monoblock caliper. It's a one-piece aluminum casting that's been machined into the shape that it is. It has four pistons in there acting on the pads, and the brakes are absolutely astonishing. They're actually quite a bit better than on the conventional 1098S motorcycle, because although they have as much stopping power, they're much more gradual when you start to squeeze the lever. At the back here we have a single seat only. The Italians call it monoposto. And they did that so they could use a lighter rear subframe. They wouldn't have to support the weight of two people on the back there, and in that way they could lose a little bit more weight. The whole bike works out to be about 13 pounds lighter than the standard street edition. The rear shock is an Erlin's twin tube shock absorber. You don't see many of those on motorcycles. It's adjustable for damping and rebound. One of the really special items on this motorcycle is that it's equipped as standard with traction control system, and the traction control has 8 settings, where 1 is barely intrusive into the rider's style and he can spin the wheel all day, and 8 is full-on intervention where you can barely get the back end to slip at all. We have here probably the world's silliest mirrors. I can see almost nothing out of them, but I'm pleased to see that one of the options that you get with this bike is a set of extensions that will push the mirrors out an extra inch or so. The front end of this bike has a magnesium subframe holding on the fairing parts and all the instrumentation, and all the carbon fiber that you see in this bike is real carbon fiber. There's nothing cosmetic about what they use on this bike. They really are trying to lose as much mass as they possibly can. The bike comes standard with a 190 rear tire, which is really pretty huge by anybody's standards, and these on this particular model are super sticky Pirelli Diablo Supercoursers, which are about as close to track rubber as you can get. The bike is equipped with a slipper clutch, which means you can downshift very rapidly from high speed without risking the rear end blocking up. This bike is pretty expensive at about $45,000, but it's one of a series of only 500. And this one you can see has a plate on this top clamp, and it's number 73. Part of the package on this bike also are these Marchesini wheels, which are forged aluminum rather than cast aluminum, and they're substantially lighter than the cast items. Just like the pistons in this bike, which are believed to have been derived from the MotoGP pistons in the Desmo Sedici racing bike, the instrumentation is pretty much borrowed from the same source, and I find it a little bit monochromatic and kind of difficult to see, especially when you're wearing dark glasses. It's kind of hard to make out what's down on the instrumentation, but I guess when you're racing, the only thing you really need to see are those little RPM warning lights when you're approaching a shift point. The DDA is actually a device that downloads data from the motorcycle, kind of like an onboard telemetry system, and you can put that into your laptop later and analyze your own performance on the track. The 1098R Ducati Troys Bayliss Edition is probably best suited to a very fast rider who plans to take the bike to the track. That's where this particular animal really comes alive, with huge power produced at high revs, and with handling so well developed it would take a talented and experienced rider to exploit it. The street is another matter. The bike is very loud with 102 decibel Terminioni pipes in it, and The higher gearing selected for the top 3 gears on this bike means you have to run 90 miles per hour on the highway to get into the engine's sweet spot. It's essentially above 5,000 RPM. Below that, the power delivery is kind of chattery and the exhaust note is a bit flat and ugly. But there's no doubt that the bike is brilliant at doing the things a race bike does. On the street, most riders would be better served riding something less compromising and conspicuous. The Bayliss Edition rides pretty hard and the clutch is heavy enough to cramp up anyone's left hand after a few city blocks. Add the fact that the 1098R is a one-person machine because of that lightweight rear subframe, and you have a track plaything for a well-heeled collector. Well, there it is, your fabulous Troys Bayliss Edition 1098R Ducati, all $45,000 worth of it. I hope you've enjoyed looking at it as much as we've enjoyed playing with it. I'm Barry Winfield for SmartCycleShopper.com.